Hi everyone. Today we are gonna enter a new topic which is function. Okay, and this is probably one of my favorite topic in this course. And today we are gonna talk about the calling function and defining functions. So, well, what are functions? Well, even before you notice that, and actually we have already done a couple of function calls in the past few weeks. And for example, len, which is length, right? So if you have a string and if you want to get how many characters are there, what do? You do a len and then parentheses, and inside we have a pair of quotes, and then we just put a string there, and then it will tell me how many characters are there. And another example will be the type. So if you want to get the object of a type, the type of a object, and then you just do type parentheses, and in the parentheses you put whatever object you want to get the type for, and then Python will tell you what type of the data or what type of the object it is, and then you also have the print, right? So they are all functions. So before today, I try to keep the concept of the functions hidden to you, but now I can tell they are all function calls. Okay, so the general process of the function call is quite clear. So you call as the name of a function. So for the len, that is function name, the type, and the print, they're all function names. And then right after the function name, you have a pair of the parentheses. And in the parentheses, you are sending some input to those functions, and then the function will process whatever input you send to the function, and then the function will give you some of the output. So the process will be something on the right side. So you send a input x to a function, and then how does the function work behind the scene? Well, we don't really know that, but it doesn't matter. As long as we are sending the right input, and then we can expect some consistent output from the function. Like for example, the len. Whatever string we send to the len, and we know it will always give me a natural number, and that represents how many characters are there in the string. Well, so if you consider what is really a function, it is a piece of reusable code. Well, it is really reusable because, well, whatever input we send, it will go through the same set of the code line by line, and eventually what it does, it can solve a particular task. And in the case of the len, it will give me how many characters are there, right? So a function is a piece of the reusable code, and we can use that again and again and again by using the function calls, and it can serve the purpose of solving a particular task for us. So function is very cool. By the way, for the len, the type, and the print, did we define them? No, right? We didn't define those functions, and they are built into Python. Even though we don't define them by ourselves, well, if as long as we know how they work and what should be the input and what kind of output we can expect, and then we can make use of those functions. And here are a few more built-in functions: max and min. Well, max, it will take several number of the parameters or arguments, and then it will give me the maximum among all the parameters. And then for the min, the same thing, but it will give me the minimum of among all the arguments or parameters. Okay, so if you want to do some tests, say if you want to do the max of 5 and 66, and then, well, the maximum will be 66. So you may say, okay, the max is really easy. Well, let me see the second example. The second example is interesting. So it tells us that, well, no matter how many parameters we are sending to the max function will always give me the maximum value among all the parameters. And that's cool, right? Because we can send as many arguments as we want to. So let me try to do some testing on the max. say, let me create a new file here. I'm going to name it day 7. And then I'm going to delete everything and say my max equals max, say 10, 11, 22, and then 45. Okay, so I sent 4 parameters or 4 arguments in total, and then I want to do a print my max. Okay, so I'm sending a total of 4 values and I want to get the max. Does that work? Let me run this. Okay, cool. So it works. So really, the cool thing about the min and max is, well, you can take as many parameters as you want to, and it will always give you the max or the min. And probably if you only have 2 values or 3 values, it doesn't really matter if you want to do the max function call, or you just want to do a bunch of if and else statements. But say if you have 50 values, and you really want to get the maximum, and probably calling the max function should be the right call, right? Okay, and here's another thing. Well, this is upper function. So, well, this is side note. To be precise, this is not a function, this is a method. And again, since we are in 131, I don't want to confuse you guys with the concept of function or methods. And I'm just gonna call this kind of thing also function in this course. And if you're taking 231 with me or with other professors, and now then you will be clarified again what's the difference between functions and methods. Okay, so well, for this one, well, even though we are calling that function, but the syntax is a little bit different. Say I have a string s equals hello world, and then I want to cast all the characters to uppercases. And how do I do that? I do s dot upper parentheses. Okay, so s is the string, that's a string, and then if I do upper, and then I will get all the characters to be uppercases. And then if I want to print s underscore upper, and then I got all capitalized word of the hello world. Okay, so well, those are some of the examples, like the type, the len, the print, the max, the min, the upper. So those are all functions. Well, remember, we haven't defined any functions by ourselves yet. They are all built in to Python. And why they are so cool? Well, the reason is we don't have to know how they are made. As long as we know how to make use of them, and then we are good. Well, while I'm showing this clip art on the right corner, well, think about cell phones. We use cell phones every day, right? And do you know how to build a cell phone? Probably most of us don't. Well, it doesn't matter, right? As long as you can make use of the cell phones, and it is really helpful in our daily lives. And for the function, that's the same thing. You don't have to define a lot of the functions by yourself. Why? Because there are so many cool functions already built into Python already. As long as you know how to make use of them, you make the right function calls, and then you can have the things done. Okay, so now let's move on and talk about how do we define functions. So here are a couple of the keywords. Those are keywords we haven't seen before. So the first thing, def. Def is for define. So if you want to define a function, and the first thing should be you want to make use of the def at the very beginning to tell Python, hey, I'm defining a function here. And another thing is return. So at the usually at the very end of a function, you do a return. And that is after you finish all the process in the function, what are the results you want to send back to the caller? And then, well, you can have argument or arguments depending on the task. Or it is also possible that you create a function without any arguments. It's also possible. So you can have 0 to many arguments in a function definition. Okay, and usually, well, when you define a function, well, there will be a documentation string. So right after the line of the DEF. The next thing is usually here. Well, you can do a documentation string. You can tell about what kind of test does this function do, what are the expected arguments or parameters, and what will be the return value. Okay, and here is a really small example. Say I want to define a function called times, and then, well, I'm taking two parameters, and they are called x and y, and I'm going to return x times y, right? So I'm just going to return the product of x multiplied by y. And this is really small example, and probably you will say, nah, why do I want to make it a function? Well, this is too small, and probably you don't have to do that. But later, if we have a harder and longer process, and making them into a functions should be a good call. So let's move on and see another example. So for this one, I'm defining a function called sum, and then, well, the DEF is the keyword, and then sum is the name of this function. And then I'm putting a parameter, and, well, inside I'm saying I'm taking two arguments, and those two arguments will be arg1 and arg2. And remember, we have a colon here, and a colon means I'm gonna start a code block, and inside this code block, everything will be indented a little bit, and then all the code indented will belong to this code block. And what is this code block? That is the definition of the function, right? And then, well, right after the definition line, and then I have the triple quotes, and inside the triple quotes, well, I'm explaining what does this function do. And usually it is a common practice. Well, when you define a function, you want to do a documentation string and tell people why do we want this this function, what kind of parameter does it take, and then what are the return values. Okay, so, well, inside after the documentation string, we have a total equals arg1 plus arg2, and remember it is indented, right? And then I'm making a printment, say inside the function local total and colon total. So, well, I'm printing what is the total value, which is the sum of the arg1 and arg2, and then I'm returning the total. So the process of this function is it takes two parameters, it adds both of the values together, assign the sum to a new variable called total, and then eventually we want to return the total. Okay, so this is just the function definition. And after that, since we have already defined a function which is the sum, and now we can make a function call to the sum function. And how do we do that? So first we want to create two variables, a and b, and then we are doing the sum equals sum a and b. Okay, I'm adding a and b together, and then I'm printing the sum. Okay, so here is something we also want to talk about. So just now we say inside the function local, and local total is the total value, right? So here is a word local. So what does the word local mean? Well, think about this. Well, we have a bunch of the parameters, or a bunch of the variable names. Well, we have the a and b, right? So where are a and b defined? A and b are defined outside the function. Okay? And think about this. How about total? Total is a variable defined inside a function, right? So do a variable b, and variable total the same in the Python? And the answer is no, they are not the same. And why? Because, well, the parameters we defined inside a function definition are called local variable names. Okay? So, well, this is really a weird example, but this is really interesting to talk about, and you should understand why it works this way. Okay? I'm defining a function called changer. And then in the changer, I'm taking two parameters, x and y. Okay? And then, well, inside this function, I'm changing the x to 2 and y to hola. So it doesn't really matter what are the original value of the x and y. As long as I'm grabbing them inside the function, I'm changing them to x equals 2 and y equals hola. Okay? So, well, later I'm initiating the A to be 20 and B to be hello. And then, well, this is the multiple assignments in one line of code. And we talk about that in day 3, I believe. Okay, and then I'm making a call of the changer. So originally, A is 20, B is hello, right? And then, well, I'm calling the changer. I'm changing the A and B, sending A and B into the function. And then, well, A will be taken by X, B will be taken by Y. And then, well, eventually I want to change A to 2 and B to hola. Does that work? Okay, let me try that. Okay, so how about I just grab this code and then I want to put it here. I have to fix the indentation here. And then probably also the codes. Yes, okay, I have to fix the codes very quick. Okay, so originally A, B are 20 and hello, and I want to change A to 2 and B to hola. And then, does that work? Okay, after calling the changer A and B, A is still 20 and B is still hello. So, is that kind of weird? It seems that we are sending the A and B to this function. So X will be 20 and B and Y will be hello. And then we made the changes. But eventually, after this function call, A stays as the same value. B stays as the same value. So it seems that when we are trying to change the values of A and B, somehow this function doesn't work. So is that weird? And I'm going to pause the video here and I'm going to continue this explanation later in the next video.